Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today, I have a subscriber who, well, he had a run-in with a Dogman, and he got a picture. Before we get into it, though, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. The links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below, my merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters Volume 1, 2, and 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeffrey Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe, click the like button, and please leave a comment. It really does help, and it's fast and free. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get into today's upload. Shall we? All right, everybody. I have today with us my boots on the ground from Virginia, DJ. DJ, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good this evening, Jeff. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Now, recently, you have moved from the inner part of Tazewell to the outskirts of Tazewell, Buchanan area, correct?
Yes, that's correct. I live on the border between Russell and Buchanan County.
You kind of are in the vicinity of where Myra Ramey disappeared, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Jeff, you're correct. Just a few miles down the road here, actually.
All right. Now, you've been there for about a month?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. The other day, you had told me some stuff started happening. Do you want to start off with the beginning of how everything started off? I imagine it didn't start off right, on day one.
No. Sure, I can do that.
All right, buddy.
Well, when we moved over here, like you said, we've been here just maybe a week, not even a month and 1 week. And first week we were here, I noticed we brought some animals with us, some outside cats, and there was 3 of them. And I told you about that. I thought they'd all disappeared, which they all didn't, but 2 did.
Yeah.
And that, I can see where they hadn't been outside much. I thought they might have run off or something. So just in the back of my mind. About a week and a half, I was out one evening, and right at dark, I heard howling up on the ridge in front of us, about 400 yards across the road and up on the mountainside. And it was actually sounding like it was following or running with a pack of coyotes.
Okay.
Well, you could definitely tell by the sound it was of a different bark. It wasn't even a bark. It was more like a squall, but didn't think much of it.
Real deep?
Very, very deep.
Okay.
And just things like that here and there are questionable. And then the other evening, I rode the 4-wheeler up on a road that goes back. It's a private road that runs up above the house here, and it runs up to a big old cemetery. And I think I told you on the way down, something was following me. I have no idea. When I stopped the 4-wheeler, it would stop. And then I picked that back up on the AT, put it in gear and gas it. And then about 5-10 foot after it took off, it began again. This happened twice. And then the third time I heard something it jumped the road and jumped the old dirt logging road and down into a holler.
In front of you or behind you?
Behind me. Okay. I never caught sight of it. It was right at it was at dusk. And then the sound it made when it jumped on the other side of the road, when it hit, you could hear saplings or brush breaking and rocks rolling down the hill. So I just floored it and come on home. And then that was what, Jeff, last week, I think, sometime last week.
I believe so, yeah.
And I went out the other morning to take my dogs out at about 10:06 a.m. so they could use the bathroom from being asleep all night. And right out there, I heard I thought it was a bark at first because it sounded 2.5 miles down the road, actually going toward where that Ramey girl disappeared.
Yeah.
And I heard it once. I stopped for about 5 minutes and heard it again. And then I was listening, letting the dogs do their thing. And then the third time I heard it, it had moved closer. And I'm not talking 100 yards or so. I mean, it sounded like it went from 2.25 miles to maybe 1.5 miles or less. Well, let's put it this way. I grabbed the dog and come back in the house. And that was last week. Yesterday, where it was raining, I was going in the kitchen to get something to drink. And the way our kitchen is designed, the window in the kitchen looks out on the hillside here behind the house where the edge of the wood line is in a power cut. And I seen a deer. Well, I'm a big wildlife fanatic. You know that, a hunter and stuff like that. So I was just sitting there, my first pictures of a deer over here. So I took the picture and kept noticing every time the deer would eat it, throw its head up, and it'd look up the hill in different directions, and then its ears would shift. Mm-hmm. I've been around enough, and anybody, if you have never hunted, just anybody that's walked in the wild and seen a deer knows when it looks for something, it's something is awry. It hears, sees something that we can't. And anyway, I was indoors, so I just kept taking pictures. And then I seen it look straight up the hill. And I seen something black up above it, mixed into the brush. Well, I was having trouble with the camera because it was faced around to me, and I'm so daggone computer illiterate, I had trouble getting it back to where it should be. Well, I finally got it fixed. And when I went to take another picture, that black thing was gone. So I took a picture at the deer while I was looking up the hill. And I thought I might have seen something I didn't know. So the deer went on, and as I was strutting through the pictures, I seen something. And when I pulled the picture up real close, which I've seen it to you, I couldn't believe what I was looking at. Right there is a dogman in the brush hiding, with its eyes fixed on that deer.
You can see one of its black eyes staring right at the deer.
Yeah, you can see its eyes. You can see the brow ridge forehead, and ears, its nose, the snout. I mean, I just couldn't believe it.
Right.
I knew there was something there, but I wouldn't have thought, in the broad daylight, stalking a deer this close to a human home. This thing is fearless. I don't know if it was more with it or not. But just that one enough coming to the house to me has broke any unspoken arrangement that nature and it could ever have. That's too close for humankind.
Yeah, and that was in the afternoon, right? Yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, it was about I would say 1:30 p.m. Yes, sir, you're correct. Just a little afternoon, broad daylight.
So after that, you didn't see the deer. The deer took off.
Yeah, the deer started walking out the hillside a little bit at a time, and then all of a sudden they just took off running. Okay. And I thought there was something there, but I didn't know. Sometimes they hear a brush snap just the way of a bird, or it had rained. The rain might soak a rotten limb a little bit too much in a weight, and it'll snap. I didn't know.
Right.
And I was just running through the pictures, and I could not believe my eyes. I mean, you can make it out as perfect as it can be. I mean, it's not the greatest quality. Don't get me wrong. Like you seen it, it's not Paramount or Warner Brothers quality, but it's definitely good enough quality you can make out what it is and what it's doing.
I'm gonna share it in this video if you don't mind.
Sure.
All right. Now you actually ended up showing your missus this picture, a couple other pictures as well. She saw it clear as day too. I remember when you sent it to me, you said, "Here's the picture," and you started to kind of guide my eye to it, and I said, "No, I see right where it is. It's above these yellow flowers."
Exactly.
Yeah. So last night, was there anything? Did you see anything last night? Was it a pretty quiet night out there?
It was pretty quiet, but honestly, I didn't go outside after it got pitch dark. Right. I stayed in my house.
Right. Yeah, I remember talking to you last night, and you said you had to take the dogs out. I said, "Just let them go to the bathroom in the basement."
Yeah, almost. But I was about ready to take you up on your suggestion because if it's that close in the daylight,
yeah,
I think to be sitting down here at the bottom of the steps. Yeah, we just don't know.
Laying right on your roof, and you wouldn't know it.
Yeah, but it's like everywhere I go, I see these things, and I don't know why. I'm not looking for them. I don't.
Well,
I don't want them to sign me an autograph.
you know, 8 bodies, 8 bodies. Well, 9 if you really want to count, maybe 10 if you want to count Mercer County as well, Buchanan, Tazewell, Mercer. If
Yes,
you want to count that, there's 10, 11 bodies right there,
right
within
on.
4 months. So, I mean, you're in the hot spot, I believe. Um, Today, did you have any sightings of it?
Yeah, I did. Not, I didn't have an eyes on exactly, but I was outside there again, walking the dogs, and there's a little branch that runs out of the mountain in the hollers down the side of the house.
Yeah.
And I heard a rock move. You know, you could hear it smack another rock, and I seen a big black shadow jump the creek at about 70 yards up in the holler.
How wide's that creek?
That creek ain't maybe 2.5, 3 foot wide.
Okay.
Maybe a half a foot to a foot deep in the biggest hole.
Just went
But
up the mountain.
yeah, it was crossing the mountain. It crossed the creek from one side of the base of that holler up to the other side. And then I run in here and brought the dogs back in and grabbed the shotgun, but I thought smarter of myself to go out there acting like Rambo. I don't want to give it no reason to draw any trouble from me. I mean, it's already crossed the line, but I'm trying to avoid any contact with it at all possible.
Yeah. Just so I can kind of paint a picture in my head too. Now, the first kind of sighting was across the street. I'm guessing, like you said, on a ridge, 2 miles out. You said, right?
That's the one when I heard it barking
Right, the
or
first time.
howling for the
Yeah.
feet.
Now, behind you, where you had taken the picture, and that night where you had heard it 2 miles, about 2 miles up, and then
Yes.
got what was it? I think you said what? A couple minutes had passed, and it was like a mile away or something like that.
Yeah, it was, I'd say maybe I heard it, then I listened to it the second time for about 5 minutes. And about 10 minutes of me being out there, the last bark was the closest. And it went from just barely audible to you could hear it without even trying. And it was covering ground quick. And it sounded like it was headed just right up this mountain range behind us, just in a straight line. So
that's the beyond that mountain is what is that? Buchanan? That's Davenport.
Yeah, it's Davenport, right in the heart of Davenport.
How far is Indian Creek area from you?
I haven't been over here this long, but I know where it's at, and I've been there. It's less than 10 minutes on the country road drive, so I would say maybe 4.5 miles at the most.
How about as the crow flies? If you were like just a crow and you were standing in your yard and you had to go in a straight line to it.
3 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that's where Myra disappeared. So I mean, this thing, whatever is out there, and you know that's really weird, is because I think I said it to you, and I was talking to Paul from New Jersey the other day, and a couple of different other people, and I said, I really think that also about the Oklahoma case, with the lady with the coyotes in her backyard. I said, I really think that a dog man, if it's a lone dog man, will run with a pack of coyote, just so it kind of has not so much companionship, but kind of like can blend in.
Correct.
And then, they don't run when they're with another smaller, 2 or 3 dog men. But it seems like this one around your area is running with these little, this small pack of coyotes. And that's dangerous right there, because, you might be in your backyard, listen to the coyotes and this and that, get distracted, and there it is right there.
Right on.
Yeah, it's strange that I remember when you moved and I remember how excited you were. And you had talked about your 3 cats, and then one ended up, being home, staying home,
right.
And the other 2 just disappeared. And
now we know why, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, you had thought something weird about it. At first you were like, this is weird because these cats just they weren't real outdoor cats, but they new land. Maybe they went exploring, but you'd think they'd come right back. That's strange. How did your dog act the day that you were out in the backyard with the dog and you could hear it howling? Coming
The dog,
coming from behind
our
you.
little,
Are you there, DJ?
very strange. But
DJ.
the rescue we got, who's he's 3/4 greyhound.
DJ.
He was definitely
DJ.
affected.
DJ,
Yeah.
really quick, you broke up right there.
We had the little one out there. I had her. She didn't act really act like being danger, or she suspected it.
Uh-huh.
But our rescue, he's 3/4 greyhound. He stood at attention and looked at me and looked back up the holler. And before I grabbed him, his tail tucked between his legs. And as I was turning him with the leash, he turned himself and went back for the steps. So he knew something that he was not used to.
Right, something was out there that he. Wow. I mean, this.
Yeah, he was hitting reverse and retreating faster than I could.
Yeah. It's very strange just how. I mean, no, it's not really strange because, like I said, you're in a hot spot. The cave area, Tazewell's always been. I mean, it's always been a pretty creepy place from what I've heard from you and 3 other people that I've got as subs from that area. Of course, I have a subscriber from Mercer County now, and she said even over there is pretty weird, creepy with, howls and things going on.
Right.
But where you are, I mean, you've just got so many just strange things going on. And then to be pretty much a couple miles away from where Myra Ramey disappeared and has not been found yet, it is definitely...
It's creepy. I didn't put a lot of thought into Miss Ramey's disappearance, but it could have been there's been no arrest. They haven't found her or her body or no whereabouts. It could have possibly been involved in this one, but after what I've experienced here, I doubt that very seriously.
Yeah, they've looked into, I mean, everything that I've read on like the Charlie Project and everything. The boyfriend's been, kind of looked at, but
right.
everything panned out, I guess. So they're not really suspecting foul play.
No.
They're just saying that she disappeared. Definitely not foul play, maybe canine play.
Exactly, Jeff. Exactly.
But I mean, this is just another. It's very terrifying to know that you're in a location where I can't emphasize on how baffling these cases are to me. The Virginia cases, like I said to you today, I was talking to you last night, and then I got done talking and I pulled out my files and I sat in the living room and I organized all the cases by state. And the cases in Virginia are just within the 4 months is strange. The weirdest one though, I just cannot get over the 3 guys, Honecker, Poole, and I forget the other guy's last name, Jeremy something, but they're all 36 years old. That's strange to me.
And like you pointed out before, they all weren't angels. Everybody made mistakes, and they made their mistake, but making around the same type of mistake, and like you pointed out, the same age category with the same background.
Yeah.
That like you said, that stinks. That stinks bad.
Yeah, it's a really stinky situation there. And the funny thing is I just think that the night that you called me, God, what was it? 3, 4 weeks ago, when they were looking in the cave system and they found Mr. Poole there,
Yeah,
the other 36-year-old who was torn up, and they you know had no idea where he was. He had been gone since last August, and
exactly.
I just think that I may be kind of looking deeper into this, but it was only a week prior that I had called the public relations officer, state trooper up there, and said, "Hey, what's going on with these cases?" And she's, I think, a couple 100 miles from where you guys are. And she's
Yes,
like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Bodies." And she goes, "Bodies?" And I'm like, "Yeah, there's more than Richard Timothy Honecker." She goes, "I don't know anything about that." Next thing you know, a week later, you got ATVs, and mysteriously now they're looking in these caves. How strange is that? Nothing. It's just very strange to me. It's almost like they're just covering their tracks. They want to figure this out. I mean, we still don't know who was in the culvert with Honecker's body that night when I called the deputy, and he said, "Yeah, there's 2 bodies in there. I don't know if the cases are related." Well, why haven't they, said who that person is? It's just
exactly, my
strange.
dog.
How is the police department there? How are they? Like, I mean,
In my opinion, Russell County and Buchanan County, they're all pretty much on par, but they seem to be good people. I mean, they seem to be really, really better in what I'm relations with people.
yeah.
And their investigations, I don't know a lot about the way they conduct things as of yet, but they don't have no bad reputation.
Well, I'm Tazewell. How about Tazewell?
Tassel's not bad. I mean, in my opinion, the sheriff needs the sheriff needs to be a little bit more hands on instead of his second in charge. But I just don't think they're putting the time and the manpower into each disappearance within their county, jurisdictions as they should.
Definitely not.
I mean, honestly, I am from or the originally in Tazewell, born and bred, and I have to admit there was really not as much eyes and hands on until you got on there and made a point to talk about this and bring it to the public's knowledge. Then after you do, as bad as I hate to say it, a lot more got done.
Yeah, it's strange to me. How, what's even more strange is you said it. It's almost like they're not the Tazewell County. They're not taking things seriously.
No.
Just because Eric Smith's case is still open from 2013. It seems like the mom is doing more legwork. She's got that 50,000. I think it's $50,000 reward that's still available if they can just locate her son.
Exactly.
Put some closure to that family.
Well, poor old, his background and his family are really the salted earth people. They're really good, God-loving and God-fearing people.
Yeah.
And all they want is to know what happened to their son. And they're getting up there in age, and I'd like to see them at least have some closure.
Yeah, we're talking almost 10 years now.
Exactly, and they're still not being no answer.
Yeah.
And I don't think there ever will be.
Now, West Hurt Buggy Road, were you closer to that where you lived prior, or are you closer to that now?
I'm closer to that now.
Okay. Yeah, this is just, it makes no sense. Of course there was more missing persons and more bodies discovered prior, prior Eric Smith. But I really think that Eric Smith's case, the mystery surrounding his case is the one that kind of really put Tazewell in the headlines. I may be wrong, but that's how I feel, because
Actually, you put Tazzle in the headlines, Jeff. You bringing this to the public's knowledge. I honestly believe if it wouldn't been for you, taking upon your own personal time to put the time in it, the legwork and the research, I don't think half as much would have been done, if any. I'm sorry to say that, but that's my opinion.
well, I do appreciate that. I really do. But I mean, I'm really literally working off of, tips that you guys give me. You especially, DJ. I mean, you brought Eric Smith to my attention, and then Victor actually spoke about him one night.
Yes, he did. That night, I mean, like anybody else, and I'm sure, the rest of your subscribers probably, when they were with you at that time, were up and down about his, was he real or was he not?
Yeah.
When he answered that question that sub called in and asked about, I had no doubt that who he was, he said he was, and he did what he said he did. How else would he know about that man's full name?
Yeah. He
is what he says he is, and he does what he said he did.
He knew exactly what.
Who he was. Well, if I remember correctly, they got the last name wrong, but they got the first name right.
Yeah. The subscriber did. William.
Yeah.
Victor didn't.
Right. He said, no, you're talking about so-and-so. And yeah, that right there. How else would he have known?
Yeah. Here's something that I wanted to ask you. William Arthur Cole Jr., 76, Buchanan County. He disappeared up on Chicken Ridge. Where's that in location to your ridge in front of you or behind you?
It's in front of me.
So that first night where you heard the howling and the barking, the deep barking that was running with the coyotes, would that be close to that area?
It's closer to that area, yes.
And that's where he went missing. William Cole.
Back where I'm at, I live just across the Russell County border into Buchanan County, but I still have a Russell County address. Mm-hmm. From where I'm at in this region, you can go anywhere in Buchanan and Russell County and Tazewell.
Okay.
All these little back roads take you somewhere, and it's like they're all interlinked.
Yeah, I mean that's another case that one really kind of shocks me, and that one doesn't fit the narrative. Neither does Myra Rami. The others do. The others, the media can use the BS of, oh, they're addicts, oh, they had they're never major criminal background. They're always small time, like he stole a 12-pack of beer from the local 5 and 10 or whatever, it's nothing major, or, he stole his mom's purse to get some meth. It's nothing like they killed somebody. But Myra and this William Arthur Cole Jr., who's 76, they don't fit the basic kind of, look-see of those cases.
No, they do not.
And they actually did a lot more to locate him.
Right.
They put a Virginia State Police med flight up looking for him. They used drones looking for him. And that was a day after he disappeared. He's got to be hidden somewhere very well in a cave. Whatever took him, or whatever, got a hold of him, put him somewhere where, a day. And that's not a very big section of woods where he disappeared. It connects to larger forests that, but this doesn't make any sense to me. None of these cases make any sense. It's tragic. It's disgusting. It's disgusting that there isn't more being done by the legal law there, you know, put it all
Right.
together and make a task force, a search and rescue task force maybe. You know, let's get
Yeah.
these people, let's find these people. You know, and like I said to you the other day, take the equation, take Dogman, take Bigfoot, take werewolf, whatever, out of the equation.
Right.
Take take these things out of the equation and look at all of these cases that are going on in Buchanan, Tazewell, Mercer, and what do you get? What really is going to cause that many deaths, that many missing persons, that many this, that many that? You can't give a logical answer. And
No, you
that's
can't.
where you have to put in the Bigfoot, the Dogman, the werewolf. That's when you put these in because that at least gives you some sort of kind of uh, scapegoat, I guess, not scapegoat, but cause. You know,
Exactly.
because there's nothing else. You can't tell me that you've got some sort of panther running around Tazewell, Buchanan, and Mercer that's, you know, stalking people and killing people. You know, you can't tell me a black bear is doing that. It
No.
just makes no sense to me, and there's just no justice for these poor families that are going through all these missing people.
Right. You know, despite my opinion on the way I see things, you don't see Russell County Sheriff's Department, Buchanan County, or even Tazewell, you know, exposing these people's backgrounds as though they were a lower life form and didn't deserve the courtesy and respect as a regular human, as you point out, like that 2-2 wearing for Fuentes out there in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Because guaranteed they've either known somebody or had a family member, you know, that has been or is currently suffering with this disease, and they know what it's like.
Yeah.
So they didn't smear their name to try to make press or make excuses that they were any less of a human than me or you.
Yeah.
That's one thing I can say for the law enforcement around here. They do have tact and they do have respect.
Yeah. Yep. They do. I don't
Matter of
think
fact,
the media does though.
no, you're exactly right. Matter of fact, the media and Mr. Fuentes out there in Tennessee could take a few lessons from deep South Virginia and Southern law enforcement.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I don't know. There's just too much. There is too many missing people, too many bodies being discovered, too many bodies being recovered, and just to walk away from. You know, you can't walk away from this and say there's nothing going on here. There
Right.
because there's obviously something going on, and for anyone to say no, there is nothing going on here, um, you'd have to be a damn fool.
Right on, Jeff. Right on. Or just blind and don't care.
Yeah, absolutely. It would just be, I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully someone brightens up and really starts to, you know, like I said, they don't even need to. They don't even need to admit to these things existing out there. I'd love it. I'd love it if they did, but they won't. But just to make a task force, just some kind of, you know, train 10 officers from each division to go out and look every time a person disappears.
Right.
You know, together. You know, so
Exactly.
you got 4 counties in that area right there. You got 40 people, all different tactical skills, different this, different that, and have them work hand in hand, and you may be finding people.
Right.
Whether
Make your
they're
own
dead or
tactical
not,
game.
but yeah, whether they're dead or not, at least there's closure to these for these poor families because this is
Exactly. And those are the ones that are suffering.
yeah,
It's the people that are left behind without any answers.
yeah, and it's
That's somebody's brother, sister, daughter, mother, father, cousin, uncle, niece, nephew. I mean, everybody has some relatives out there.
yeah, and it's tragic. It is. I can't tell you how disgusted I am knowing that this is happening and these people are suffering not knowing. Every time I look at Eric Smith's case and I read what his mom Drema says, or it's heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking.
It really is. You're right.
Well, do me a favor, my friend. Stay safe.
I'll do my best.
Play it smart like you did today, and yes, you do have firearms, but no, you don't need to use them on this because you might cause yourself a problem bigger than you wanted.
Yeah, that's what I've been studying on here all day.
Well, do me a favor, don't hang up. I want to talk to you a little bit after this. And
all right.
DJ, stay safe. Thank you for coming on. And gosh, just keep me in the loop if you hear anything else.
Will do, Jeff. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys, we did end the interview, but I had forgotten something that I wanted to discuss about the photo that DJ included. Now, like I said in the prior to this, he had shared this video with his missus, and he had a friend that he brought the picture to today. Can you tell us a little bit about the friend and what they said about the picture? Who the friend is, this, and that. Not the name, but
yeah, of course. He's a retired law enforcement officer. He was, matter of fact, he was captain of detectives for a long time before he finally retired. He's seen the picture, and pardon the expression, Jesus, Jesus Christ is what he said. He couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it is.
He said it. He said that and said it's effing crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Because he just couldn't believe it. He's seen it right off, just like you did.
I mean, you clearly see the black eye. The eye is what's just staring, and it's a glossy eye.
Right.
That's not a mistaken identity of, that's a log, that's this, that's that.
No.
That's truly an eyeballing that deer.
And this is for all the subs out there. I took that picture with a regular cell phone that a really good friend had gave me about a year and a half ago through 2 panes of window glass out on the back side of the hill here behind the house. So there was no special equipment used. There was nothing. That's just a normal short range phone camera is the quality you see. And if it's that easy to make it out, I couldn't imagine if I'd had a Nikon or a Canon camera, how good it would have turned out.
Yeah, it's truly. Something just popped in my head. Do you have any trail cams?
I've got 2. Yeah, I've got 2 of them.
I don't know if you'd be up to it, but or maybe just have some kind of someone that doesn't know anything that's going on go up there.
Right.
But where you saw that creature hop that creek, is there a trail or
all kinds of trails up through there?
Path out there.
Deer trails all up and down that hillside.
Yeah. I'm wondering if there's a way of fixing a camera kind of located on the creek, not in one location, but kind of put it down a ways so it's kind of looking a long way at the creek. So if it comes out to get some water or something, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And maybe you could get a shot of it that way.
Right, easily done.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Anyway, be safe, man. Don't do it like,
No, I got to get some new memory cards for them, but I will have them up very shortly.
You want me to? I could send you one if you want.
Nah, that's all right. I'll go up here to our local Walmart and buy a couple because I really do need some new ones anyway.
All right. Just be safe when you do it. All right, DJ?
I will, Jeff. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, take care.
You too. Wow. When DJ first told me he had moved from his previous location into the area he was moving to, I said, wow, brother, you better be careful. You're, going deeper into the woods. Like he said, that first week, he had lost 2 of his cats, which, being a cat person, is heartbreaking. But to have this creature roaming around that close to your home is terrifying. And, to have this creature and the location of 2 people that are missing, no bodies yet, be within 4 miles of your location as the crow flies is terrifying as well. But this picture is what is really terrifying. You can clearly see the eye. This thing has just evil intent all around. Now, everyone, just a great interview, great guy. He's in my prayers. And all of you are as well. May the Great Spirit watch over us all, and may He guide us down that path that we call life.